Good morning. Good morning. My name is Will Garrison. My pronouns are he and him, and I have the joy of being your pulpit host this morning. On behalf of this congregation, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville. We acknowledge, as we always do for a brief moment, that the place in which we build our lives and our community together is the traditional territory of native tribes whose place and land was taken away from them. Whether you've joined us online or physically present here in our sanctuary this morning, we're glad that you've taken this time away from our busy lives and our busy world to spend this time with us together. Our congregation is served by our minister, the Reverend Jaimie Simon, who is always available for pastoral care or to answer any questions that you might have about Unitarian Universalism. She can be reached at minister@uuch.org. If you're a newcomer and would like to learn a little bit more about the happenings of the church or what's going on, please sign up on our guest book in the foyer, and you can receive our weekly email newsletter. And that kind of keeps you in touch with all the many things that we now have going on these days. If anyone hasn't already done so, take a moment, take your tiny square tether to the outside world that allows us to share all of human knowledge on a beam of light, and to make noise constantly to remind us of all the things that we said we were going to do and didn't. Take that little box out, put it in silent mode, put it away, and try to bring yourself into the present here. But please don't silence yourself or people around you. We love the joyful and the not-so-joyful noises when we sing. It doesn't matter whether you can sing out like Pavarotti or growl quietly to yourself. We love all the noises that you bring here. If you have a joy, a sorrow, or an important milestone that you feel like you need to share with the congregation or would like shared during our circle of candles or included in the pastoral prayer, please write it on the white card in the back of the pew in front of you and place it into the offering basket as it comes by. As I said earlier, to keep up with the latest community news and events and comings and goings, I would recommend that you get our newsletter that comes out once a week. But in case you didn't get it, or like many of us, get a million emails a week and didn't take the time to read it, I wanted to share a couple things that might be of interest to all of us. This week, Thursday, March 26th at 6 p.m., UUCH is partnering with Indivisible, North Alabama, and having a community protest song workshop. So if you're like me and you haven't made your sign for No Kings, this is your chance. If you, like me, would like to go to the protest and say something other than a four-letter word and then ICE, this is your chance. 6 p.m. on Thursday, bring some snacks, make a friend, and help build the beloved community we're all seeking to create. There's an Easter egg hunt on April 5th, Sunday at 12:15. Bring your family, bring something to hunt for, bring some snacks, bring a lawn chair, bring a musical instrument if you got it. Either way, it's going to be a great time. Mid-April, the Worship Arts Property Committee, Thursday, April 16th at 6:30 p.m., is meeting to restart the Worship Arts Committee. If you've got strong opinions on things that you would like to see in worship, things that you love that we do in worship, things that you go, oh my God, we're not going to sing that song again, are we? This is for you, right? This is a chance to be a part of worship and create a truly sacred space for you to be in. Oh, and I totally missed a note, excuse me. Back to No Kings and Indivisible for a brief moment. After Thursday, the day of the protest, Saturday morning, we are meeting at UUCH at 12:15 if you would like to carpool and get a ride to and from the protest and not have to deal with parking in the hospital or medical district. Meet here at the church, 12 to 12:15, depending on whether you're someone who is early or not so early. If you're not so early, be here at 12. And last but not least, from our pledge drive team, as of March 21st, 42 families have pledged $197,462 for the upcoming church year. Thank you, thank you, thank you. For more information about how Pledge Drive is going or how you can contribute, please see Zena after the service or the newsletter. There's an order of service announcement section as well. And if you haven't had an opportunity to sign up for a cottage dinner, there are a handful of slots left, including the one at my house for all the stragglers at the very back end of the calendar. And thanks to Shalene Modi, who gave my wife and I a tour of Indian Bazaar and pointed out all sorts of wonderful things to cook. We'll have probably an Indian dinner next weekend. After the service, everyone, as always, is welcome to join us in the fellowship hall for coffee and conversation and snacks and to further develop our bonds to one another. Now, I want to take a moment for all of us to take a deep breath, close our eyes, breathe in, breathe out, and let the worries of the world drift away. Bring yourself into this place and still your mind as I ring the singing bowl. Finally, having gathered in a shared quest for truth, meaning, and purpose, let us light our chalice with these words by Susan Collins. What I need is the dandelion in the spring, the bright yellow that means rebirth instead of destruction, the promise that life can go on no matter how bad our losses, that it can be good again. And now to help center yourself and quiet your mind, we have our music for centering, followed by our thread song.
When we are gathered for a time of worship and of song, let none forget the joys and griefs that mark each path of life, and thus we reach for those who love. We reach for those who love.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Jaimie Simon. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and it is my privilege to serve as the minister here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville. Welcome. I'm so glad to see your faces here with us this morning. I invite you to join me in centering with these words from the Reverend Gretchen Haley. Whatever you have come in anticipating, whatever you expect or worry for our world, for the future, for our lives, let it go. Make space in your heart to be surprised. Make room in your soul for a new story to take shape. Let astonishment be possible. As this life remains a miracle, imagine here the bursting of joy, relentless and resilient, coming in waves, washing over us with music and story and silence. And still this dreaming together, being hope for each other, and courage to believe in this new day dawning for us all. Come, let us worship together. Now, I'd like to invite forward Susan Coddington to offer a reflection and words about her experience here at UUCH as a testimonial part of our pledge drive this season. Thank you, Susan.
Good morning. My name is Susan Coddington, and my pronouns are she and her. I've been a member of this church and community for almost 25 years, and like many of you, I initially joined so my children would have a church home, one with values that I embraced. But my involvement outlasted my son's childhoods. They're like in their late 20s, early 30s, and I'm still here almost every Sunday. Through the years, I've served in many different capacities. I started out as hospitality chair, music chair, member of the nominating committee, president of the board. I also taught the children's religious education classes for several years and was co-facilitator for our sexual education classes our whole lives, first as for the senior high class and then several years later for the junior high class. I've been a member of the choir, member of the tech team, a greeter, offering counter, and pulpit host. I facilitated a Soul Matters group for several years. I've also emceed our open mic nights, was the auctioneer for our service auction, and even, and this is scary, I filled in as pianist when we were really, really desperate. Not something I want to do regularly, trust me. Every position, every task I've ever performed for this church has fulfilled me in some way. I've connected with other members and felt the joy of contributing to something larger than myself. But I would suspect that every volunteer in every church or community feels something similar. So the question for today is, why this church? Years ago, my younger son, Liam, told me that I did two things well as a parent, probably only two things, but we'll go with that. One was that I didn't allow the boys to have sweet drinks like soda and tea. Okay, so my drink of choice was unsweet tea, and so that was the reason why. But hey, I'll take the win. The other thing I did well was that I allowed them to develop their own opinions. I never wanted them to think like I did, and not that there was ever a real chance that that would happen, but I always appreciated and respected others' opinions and felt this world would be so boring if we all thought alike. In a very odd way, that is one of the main reasons I love this church. There is no dogma we all must follow. We don't have the same beliefs, and that's okay. We are all free to explore the world and grow as we see fit. We do have a guiding set of principles that help direct us in recognizing and respecting each other's journeys. For me, those principles are the key to a wonderful life. The most important principle to me is the inherent worth and dignity of every person. That means appreciating our differences and valuing each other's regardless of our beliefs. Not just everybody in this room, but everybody in the whole world. Another main reason I support this church is that I gain so much through our services. Reverend Jaimie's messages from the pulpit, the beautiful music provided by Thomas, our pianist, the stories told by Jess, and the music directed by Lori. Each Sunday I attend church, my heart is filled with these beautiful messages and wonderful music. By supporting our church monetarily, I'm supporting our staff, ensuring that these services continue. Having a covenant community where we learn and grow together and respect each other's differences is important to me. And these Sunday services that touch my heart are some of the reasons why I support this church with my time, my talent, and my money. Our church needs our world needs communities like ours more than ever. This is why I support this church, and I hope you will too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susan. continuing that theme about how we understand ourselves as one of many paths to truth, a community where we can believe different things about the world and still be committed to the work of justice and love for our neighbor, let us rise in body or spirit to sing our opening hymn. It's number 193 in that gray hymnal, and it's called Our Faith is But a Single Gem. Let's rise and sing together. Friends, it is our practice after our opening hymn to turn to these blue cards in the pew back in front of you and to sing our doxology. The words are in English and in Spanish, and then to speak together our words of aspiration. When we get to those words, we turn toward the center aisle of our sanctuary and speak these words as words of promise in community. Let's sing. May love be the spirit of this church. May the quest for truth be its sacrament and service be its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration. You may be seated, and now I'd like to invite forward Jess Zelaya, our Director of Religious Education, and any children who might be in the room who'd like to come forward to hear our story this morning. Come on up, friends.
Good morning. Today's story is called What is God? And it is a story based on the tales of the Greek and Roman goddesses Minerva and Athena. what is God? Once there was a wise woman named Athanervra. Athanervra would travel from town to town in her country, spending a few days, maybe a week in each town. People came to her with difficult problems or arguments while they were having with others. She would help them find their way toward a satisfying answer. One day when she entered one of the towns on her route, Athanervra heard a lot of arguing. She looked and saw a group of people in a very heated discussion. One person called out, "Athanervra, come here, we need your wisdom." Athanervra approached the group, and the person who had called to her said, "I've been telling people who God is, and they keep saying I'm wrong. I'm worried about them. Help them see what is right." "Well," said Athanervra, "what have you told them?" "I told them that there is just one true God who loves and cares for us, who hears our prayers, and commands us to love one another." And Athanervra said, "You're correct." "What?" said the others. "No, that can't be right." And then one of them said, "I believe there's a God, all right, a God who created the universe and established the laws governing it, set it going, and left. God has no interest in the affairs of humanity. It is up to us to make this world the place we want it to be." And Athanervra said, "You're correct." And then a third person said, "Well, I believe that there are many gods and goddesses. They are part of my worship of all nature and the cycle of life." And then Athanervra said, "You are also correct." "I'm not sure there is a God," said the fourth. "I see a divine spark in everything and everyone, but maybe it's just part of human consciousness." And Athanervra said, "You are correct." "Well, I don't believe there is a God at all," said the last person in the group. "But I'm truly awestruck when I think about the mystery of the creation of our universe and how we come to be. I believe it is my responsibility to leave my corner of the world better than I found it." And Athanervra said, what do you think she said? "You're correct." At this point, everyone was very confused. "But how?" they said. How can we all be correct when we all have different ideas about what God is or isn't?" "Yes, you have all different visions, but each of those visions can lead you to love and care for each other and this wonderful part of creation we all call Earth. And that is the correct vision, however you label it." As Athanervra left, the people in that group agreed that they didn't need to argue about who was right. They needed to work together to make the world they wanted. So, one of our shared values is pluralism, and that says that many things can be true at once. How is this shown in the story about Athanervra? Yeah? Not to be mean? So you have to not be mean and listen to everyone else? Yeah, go ahead.
Be kind and share.
Oh, we have to share? One of the beliefs expressed in the story is that it is our responsibility to leave the world better than we found it. What small actions can we take to make that happen? What's something you can do to make things better? When you feel mad, you hide in your room? So maybe it can make the world better to take time to decide our actions early. Yeah.
I like to think.
Oh. Yeah. Lorelai. Oh, we can recycle to make the world a better place. Thank you all for sharing. Let us now sing our children out.
Recycle.
are the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville, a proudly inclusive spiritual community. And together, we strive to build a broader search for meaning, a bolder form of compassion, and a braver voice for justice. If that mission calls to your heart at this time, we'd like to invite you to support that mission with a contribution. You can do so online using the QR code in your order of service, or cash or check, or Bitcoin in the offering baskets as they go by. If you're like me and you pay most of your bills by auto pay because you're always terrified of forgetting to bring a check to church, a practice I'd like to offer you this morning that I've found meaningful is, if rather than just watching the basket go by and saying, I'd already donated, take a moment and think, in a world that desperately needs our aid, in a world that's hurting, in a world that needs healing, needs helping, what can you offer today, this week, to our community here, to our nation, to our world? What offering can you bring? Completed circle of candles cards, the white cards, sharing joys or sorrows, should also be placed in the offering basket at this time. If you have a joy that's still blossoming or a sorrow that's just too difficult to share aloud, we also invite you to walk up and place a stone that speaks to you, either a message, a symbol, or just wanting to let something go, and drop it in the bowl at this time. With gratitude, we now receive your offering.
Friends, will you join me now for our time of meditation, reflection, and prayer? Loving Spirit, be with us as we are with each other in this room, in this time, in the streets, in our hearts. Be with us as we hold the joys and the sorrows present in our community, as we share them together, holding them tenderly. This morning, I lift up a joy from our friend Deborah DeLacy. After a successful procedure on Thursday, she is now skin cancer free. Hooray, we are so grateful for this good news. And our friend Jerry shares that she is a first-time cottage meeting hostess this weekend or this Wednesday, and she's really looking forward to it, and she's hoping by next Sunday it will not be a sorrow. So we wish you good luck, Jerry. And we send our gratitude for everyone who is hosting these events. As we hold joy in this community, we understand that there is sorrow in the world, sorrow for war and conflict, sorrow for violence. This week it was revealed that another man who was once a symbol of community courage and justice was also an abuser. And so this morning we remember the women, children, and all people who are victims and survivors of abuse. We as a community believe their stories, we honor their truths, and we seek accountability always. May accountability be our prayer. In all these places of celebration, may kindness and connection grow. In all these places of pain and concern, may compassion and healing begin. And let us say, blessed be and amen. Let's sing in response our hymn number 1009, Meditation on Breathing. Please sing with me. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Our reading this morning is a reflection called Lean into Life, written by Reverend Tara Humphreys. May it remind us to be open to inspiration in unexpected places. Uncross your arms, lean all the way in. Love is everywhere. Tara shares, I recently found myself in a Kundalini yoga class with a new teacher. I'm a UU, but yoga is my spiritual practice, she shares. I'm wearing my white cotton clothing, my head wrap, sitting on the natural fiber blanket, moving contently through the exercises with care and focus and precision. And all of a sudden, one of the exercises brought up a whole bunch of resistance in me. Sit in easy pose with your legs crossed, arms out to the sides, hands in fists, the teacher instructed. Okay, I can do that, thought Tara. And begin to move your arms in circles as fast as you can. It was challenging, but doable. I closed my eyes and focused my attention at the brow point, the third eye. Now, she said, begin to chant, God, 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 as you circle your arms. Oh boy, I thought, here we go. Of course it couldn't just be arm circles. I began to chant with her, but my thoughts kept inviting themselves in to interrupt me. Why are we chanting God, God, God? What do I even mean by God, 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 God? Is everyone else actually saying this out loud? This is weird. I wonder if people are looking for me. God, God, God. Okay, Tara, just get over it. God, 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 I shouted. I began to smile, twirling my arms as fast as my shoulder sockets would allow, giggling, then laughing. I don't know if you're out there, but if you are, I hope you're laughing too, because this is awesome. Then we settled into a comfortable silence. The edges of my mouth had settled in up by my eyes, and there was this deep joy that maybe could have floated me right off my natural fiber blanket and up into the heavens. I'm beginning to learn that when we lean in into the awkwardness, the discomfort, the random hilarity of life, in the very moment that life invites us forward, we can tap in to the most holy, real, enveloping love that we could ever imagine. Tara invites us, may we lean into life, and may our hearts fill with the gifts that brave and vulnerable action bring forth in us. So ends our reading. Now have the privilege to invite up our friend John Chehersky to offer us our anthem, beloved UU singer-songwriter Peter Mayer's Holi Now.
When I was a boy, each week, Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. And when I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made water wine, and I remember feeling sad. Miracles don't happen still. Now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small. An even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips. Now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down. Now I walk it with a reverent air. Everything is holy now. questioning child's face. Say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come. Say it's not a sacrament. Tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down. Now I walk it with a reverent air. Everything is holy now.
Friends, everything is holy now. This morning, I'm asking us to embody the good wisdom of paying attention. I'm asking us to turn our attention toward our wider religious world. Together, we will pay our respects to the religious traditions that predate and inform our own tradition. In this moment, we're paying attention to ancient practices that inspire us, as our Unitarian Universalist sources instruct, to respond to God's love by loving our neighbors as ourselves, to confront powers and structures of evil with justice, compassion, and the transforming power of love, and to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. Even when the theology differs from our own, even when to inhabit the practice doesn't immediately suit us, even when it's a practice we let go of long ago, there is still worthiness to pay attention to. And when I think about our call to pluralism, what Jess was teaching our children about this morning, the Unitarian Universalist value that teaches that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. Too often I find the expectation of pluralism is that we learn only from the ancient stories. We retell the parables of Jesus. We revisit the Buddha under the Bodhi tree. We search the Quran and the Gita for deep, abiding truths. We connect to ancestors and the turning earth that has held our atoms for millennia. And this is all well and good and deeply faithful. But what we can miss out when we focus solely on the ancient pieces of our world traditions is that just as Unitarian Universalism is alive in us, in this room, in our Huntsville community, Islam, Judaism, Christianity, Hinduism, each are alive in our community as well. Paying attention to religious wisdom means paying attention to how these faith traditions are being expressed in the lives of our neighbors. It's not just about the old stories in the scriptures, it's about the messages that are being told and taught and carried out each day. This week, as I prepared for this sermon, I listened to the sermons and reflections and posts of some of our religious neighbors in this community. I asked myself not, what is Lent, but what does Lent mean to my dear friend, Pastor Will Starkweather at St. Mark's Lutheran Church? I asked myself not, what is the history of the Jewish holiday of Purim that was celebrated a few weeks ago, but instead, how did Rabbi P.J. Schwartz invite his congregation to experience Purim this year? Not, why do people still choose to fast for Ramadan, but what is this year's Ramadan fast awakening for Imam Khaled and the Huntsville Islamic Center community? I believe there is goodness worth paying attention to, not just in the history of world religions, but in the present too. I'm convinced that the love of neighbor, of earth, and of community is present in these holidays and the ways they all fortuitously overlap in this spring season. We are being taught, and we are seeing these messages coming to life in the day-to-day actions of the people we see each week in our grocery stores and office spaces. The wisdom of these various sacred seasons are alive in the children who learn and grow next to our children, in classrooms all across our cities. And my hope is that we will learn to be better neighbors, and we will find deeper wisdom and connection by understanding how these important moments in the religious calendar are impacting our neighbors and coming to life in their lives now. For Muslims, this week concluded the holy month of Ramadan with the Eid al-Fitr feast and celebration. Ramadan is the month that the Quran was said to have been revealed to the Prophet Muhammad. Muslims everywhere are expected to fast, refraining from food and water from sun up to sundown. That's an intense practice, a practice of deep commitment laid out in the Quran, which says in Surah Baqarah 183, "O believers, fasting is prescribed for you, so perhaps you will become mindful of Allah." For our neighbors at the Huntsville Islamic Center, the Muslim masjid in our community, Ramadan is more than just a time of fasting. In a social media video to the community, Imam Khaled reminded them that Ramadan is not just a time of going without, it is a time of joy, a time of remembering all of their blessings, of seeing how everything is holy now. It's a time to pay attention to their scriptures, to their community, their family, and their children. It's a time to reflect on what's most important, to grow spiritually, and to remember the Muslim spirit of perseverance. Especially in these times when we know that Islamophobia is rampant in our world, in our communities, the month of Ramadan works to instill strength, courage, faithfulness, and unity. And because Islam is a loving, welcoming faith, as Ramadan concludes with Eid al-Fitr, the masjid opens its doors to allow the wider community in to celebrate and learn with them. As Unitarian Universalists, let us learn something from our Muslim neighbors and their practice of Ramadan. May we be inspired by the strength and discipline of the fast. May we remember to invite in those who do not know who we are to come and join us, to show them our values through generous hospitality. May we be filled with joy and deeply aware of all of our blessings. May we bring this mindfulness forward in all that we do together. For Huntsville's Jewish community, this is the time of year where the festival of Purim is honored. Now, traditionally, Purim is a festival that includes the retelling of the story of the book of Esther. In the story, the villain, Haman, wants to get rid of the Jewish people, and fortunately, Mordecai and his cousin Esther are able to interrupt this plot and save the Jewish community. My friend Rabbi PJ is tasked each year with putting on a play of this story. That's the Purim practice. They call these plays spiels. And through the spiel, they teach the story and retell the message of Jewish resilience in a new way that connects to the people. Our piano player Thomas in the back, who also plays for the temple, can verify that I'm not kidding about this, but this year, the Purim play included Rabbi PJ in a red Kansas City Chiefs Travis Kelce jersey, and the play itself included a series of Taylor Swift song parodies rewritten to tell the story of Queen Esther. At the end of the spiel, in the style of Blank Space, they sing, "Oh, the Jews were saved by Esther. Through the spiel, you've heard it all. When our people need a hero, will you hear the call? 'Cause it takes just one person when things get out of hand to be a leader. Stand up and take a stand. In our tale, the Jews were threatened. In our world, we see the same. One day we'll need a hero, and we'll call your name." So besides perfectly coinciding with my interests of religion and Taylor Swift, this year's celebration is a reminder of both the power of one person to make a difference, something we hold true, we know is real in our UU community. And this year's practice reminds us of the importance of meeting people where they are, of tying our values to the culture that is already surrounding us. Sometimes to be relevant means to be silly and playful and creative about how religious values can still make meaning in a world that is both religious and secular and everything in between. May we, inspired by this celebration, remember the impact one person can have in the world. May we pay attention to the rise of anti-Semitism and give care and concern to each community that is being persecuted, advocating for liberation. And may we feel encouraged to connect our values to the wider world, even in unexpected ways. For the Christian community, the season of Lent is upon us. Lent is the 40 days leading up to Easter Sunday. And historically, this solemn time represents the 40 days that Jesus spent fasting in the desert before he was executed. It's a time where Christians choose to give something up: chocolate, soda, alcohol, gambling, reality TV, whatever the vice. And often the task is to also replace that with prayer and connection to God, meditation, etc. The modern practice of Lent is alive and well with our neighbors at St. Mark's Lutheran Church. On the first Sunday of Lent a few weeks ago, Pastor Will preached about the idea of temptation, and he reminded his congregation that temptation is a part of being human. All of us have things that tempt us. Often, that temptation encourages us to fall short of our call to live into our values. The temptation at hand is to take the easy way, the path of least resistance, to stick with the status quo, even when the status quo is wrong. And what I took away from his message was that the spirit of Lent today is not about candy and diet culture. Instead, it's an invitation to acknowledge that temptation is real and an opportunity to practice setting personal boundaries and setting higher expectations for oneself, to make a commitment to resist temptation and see that commitment through. The idea is that, of course, there are things we want that aren't very good for us, and there are things we don't want to do that we know we probably should. We don't necessarily want to go the extra mile for others. We don't want to have to go We don't want to have to bring another can to fill the pantry, or go to another protest, or stand boldly against the status quo, because that can be uncomfortable. But living faithfully means ignoring that temptation to fall short of what we know is right. Living faithfully means following our values, especially when they're inconvenient and unpopular. As our Christian neighbors practice Lent this year, may we take a breath of gratitude for their wisdom. May we pay attention to what tempts us. May we stay connected to our values and choose a braver way forward. Friends, we as Unitarian Universalists are a faith that is enriched by the wider world of spiritual knowing and wisdom found in the religious traditions that share this planet with us. Pluralism teaches us that there's not just one true path. No single faith tradition, not ours, not anybody else's, has explicit control of the truth, right? There is no hierarchy of religious truth. Instead, we find the path that calls to us. Together, we explore the world, pulling in the pieces of practice and power that speak to our souls. In this spring season, as the earth warms and the plants return, as life begins to buzz anew, celebrations of religious truth are happening all around us. Our friends and neighbors are hearing their sacred stories, they're making their promises, they're keeping their vows, inspired by their practice, and not just their stories, but them as people who, like us, live and breathe their faith traditions out in the world each week. May we go forth with commitment and joy. I'll close with these words from Reverend Julia Lepp. We seek our place in the world and the answers to our heart's deep questions. As we seek, may our hearts be open to the unexpected. May we be reminded that all beings are whole, sacred, and worthy. Let our hearts be welcoming of multiple truths, not holding hard or fast to closed-mindedness or judgmental thinking. What can we learn from each other in the richness of our differences? May the heart of compassion help us recognize the sacred in each other and bridge differences in these challenging times. May each of us be held in relationship, accountability, and the power of beloved community. Blessed be. Amen. And go in peace. And let us sing together. Our closing hymn is number 1008 in our teal hymnal. It's a favorite of mine. It's called When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. I invite you to rise in spirit and rise in body if that works for your body this morning. And let's sing together.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing.
close this morning and extinguish our chalice with these words adapted from Pam Brown. For every person who has ever lived and strived and worked in this world, there has come at last a spring that they will never see. Glory then in the springs that are yours, and work to create future springs for others.
Friends, our service now comes to a close. I will be at the back of the sanctuary to greet you, and everyone is welcome to head to Fellowship Hall for coffee and conversation. I encourage you to introduce yourself to someone you might not know yet, and take time to have a conversation and build those bonds of community together. As we go forth, let us leave with these words from Reverend Tandy Rogers. May possibility take root where certainty once stood. May curiosity lead the way. May you loosen your grip, open your hands, and find that something unexpected is already unfolding. Let us depart with that good wisdom. Amen, blessed be, and let's go out singing our rite of community. May I be light in you, which is on that golden card.
May I be light in you. May you be light in me. Into our hearts, into our souls, let love abide. May I be love in you. May you be love in me. From this place up to the world for all time.
Amen, blessed be, and go in peace.